Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. Real quick, just a quick bit of warning, my light may or may not go in and out for some reason, and if I accidentally bump like its cord, it goes out. So it'll probably, hopefully it stays on for the duration of the recording, but otherwise it might be in and out, just like me on a Friday night. No, I'm kidding. I don't actually. Anyway, so yeah, so that might be happening. Not saying it's going to, but if it does, don't be alarmed, and the light will be cut back on shortly. But in the meantime, it's Royal Rumble season. It is the month of January, even though the Royal Rumble is in February this year. But because it is still the month of January, I still consider it Rumble season. So we're looking at some old school Royal Rumble matches. And not all of these are old school. Some just matches that take place at the Royal Rumble, as well as some actual Royal Rumble matches. So we're gonna see some of both, and we've taught, and this in a way, this review ties into a couple other reviews that we've done on the channel. We've looked at Shawn Michaels' last match at WrestleMania 14, and before that, we looked at Shawn Michaels' return at SummerSlam 2002. But what was the match that caused Shawn Michaels to have to retire in the first place? Let's find out how as it is this match and see exactly how it happened. I'm of course talking about Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in a casket match for the WWF Championship at the Royal Rumble 1998. So, as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I must say, I had a really good time. I would say with this match. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, two guys you can never really go wrong with. I feel like almost every time they face each other, magic happened. Let's see some more of that magic. Let's get right into it now. Of course, let's take a sip of water there. If you've seen this used by before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. Starting with what I liked. Like I said, hard to go wrong with these two facing each other. Having this in the main event and over the Royal Rumble match was a choice. Granted, the Rumble this year, if I remember watching this correctly, was just kind of it was kind of but I think '98 might have been. I'll have to go back and watch it at some point. Admittedly, it's been a little bit since I've seen the 1998 Royal Rumble, uh, but uh, but if you're not going to have the Royal Rumble match in the main event, and which the Royal Rumble match is a semi-main event, I think having the WWF Championship be the main event instead, I think works out well, and I think it worked out well in this case. Some good back and forth between Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker, or some moments, especially around like the casket and everything, and there's some interference from DX and by DX I mainly mean Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Uh, yeah, at least in the core part of the match, and we'll get to why that is the case in a little bit. Triple he's still called Helmsley here, so I don't think he was Triple H quite yet. But he is walking around on crutches. He injured his I believe they say he injured his foot, but he still got to hold on to the European Championship. Well, I guess modern WWE isn't the only ones to do it, but thankfully their interference it didn't get too egregious. It's just good. Otherwise, it's just some good fun action from Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. But of course, like I alluded to, who at the start of this video, we gotta talk about that injury. Shawn Michaels is back dropped onto the casket and clips the back of the casket. And I have the wiki here, so we have the exact injury. He uh he uh so I'm just gonna read really quickly. It says, during his match with The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels suffered a severe back injury when he took a back body drop on top of the casket, landing on his tailbone landing on his tailbone on the casket's outer midsection. Michaels herniated 2 discs in his back and crushed a third, and the injury forced him to retire from wrestling immediately following WrestleMania. And when you see the injury on in the actual match itself, the injury itself isn't like super gruesome. Not like say Sid Vicious's injury, when he injured his leg, or anything like that. Had he mostly clips it. He doesn't go fully back first, but he does clip the casket, and admittedly, it is kind of painful to watch. Knowing that we know, admittedly, if you watched it without knowing that he injured his back and that he'd be gone for the next few years, or after WrestleMania, that is, you probably wouldn't be able to immediately tell. It's like, oh, I took a nasty landing, but obviously knowing what we know now, oh yeah, it's kind of scary to watch. But the crazy part is that happens early in the match. Like that happens almost like immediately into the match. And Shawn still carries on throughout the match. And he's still able to go, which it's Shawn still being able to put out a performance and still put on like a decently length match. This is not a short match at all. It's about 20 minutes. It's to be able to continue on in the match, even though with that injury, he's got to be in excruciating pain. That is pretty impressive from Shawn Michaels, and you do see him kind of wince in pain, from time to time, and kind of take time to catch his breath. But otherwise, you might not be able to tell right away. So props to Shawn. He is an absolute trooper for gutting it out in this match, and he does take even more blows to the back, which I imagine probably aggravated the injury even more. Or thankfully, I haven't been injured that many times in my life, and I definitely don't plan on it. Although very rarely I feel like you ever plan to get injured, but if at all. But Shawn, he stuck it out. All the props, all the respect in the world to Shawn for sticking it out, gutting it out, even with the injury, and to continue the match with the Undertaker, and almost in terms of offense, almost evenly split. Shawn gets his offense in, but Undertaker also gets his offense in, and it's not quite as one-sided as their previous encounter to this point, which was Bad Blood '97, where Undertaker got the majority of the offense, and Shawn getting his licks in as well. Which, I mean, Undertaker beating up Shawn, they had been feuding up to this point, of course. Whereas him beating up Shawn is what a lot of people want to see, and for the most part, we got that. But a bit more even-keeled in a way, if that makes any sense. But yeah, even through the injuries, Shawn is able to power through. And still put on a very solid match. Up until the end, when Undertaker's attacked by the rest of DX, that being Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Or actually, I'm not sure if they were fully a part of DX. I think that alliance was in place, but I don't think they'd be fully a part of D-Generation X until a little bit later on, if I'm not mistaken. But nevertheless, as New Age Outlaws, they attack Undertaker, as well as Los Barriqua. I might have to look into why exactly Los Barriquas were there. I'm sure it obviously has something to do with the Undertaker, or perhaps an alliance to D-Generation X. Admittedly, that part I'll have to catch up on. But Kane then shows up, and Kane attacks XDX and Los Barriquas, but then Swerve, he takes out the Undertaker. They think Kane's gonna help the Undertaker. Apparently, he had to kind of fill in the blank as to why commentary was confused as to well, of course Kane's gonna attack the Undertaker. They were feuding up to this point, but apparently they had teased a partnership. Briefly, he teased reconciling their differences, and by differences I mean Undertaker nearly killing Kane in the fire. To be fair, we didn't really know that part yet. But apparently they did have almost teased at a little bit of a partnership before Kane said nope, and attacked the Undertaker. And ultimately he threw Undertaker in the casket. He and Paul Bearer locked it. By this point, DX had gotten Shawn out of there, and the bell never officially rang. The referee, I believe that referee is Tim White. Motioned for the bell to ring. It unfortunately did not, but nevertheless, as they carried the casket up to the stage before Kane attacked it with a fireman's axe, or actually just a regular axe, but he attacked it with an axe and poured gasoline on it and lit the casket on fire. So Undertaker would be out for a little bit. Thankfully, he didn't quite get carried up to heaven like previously, but Undertaker would eventually come back, and he, of course, would face Kane at WrestleMania 14. But Kane costing his brother once again, and them keeping that story thread in as well of Kane, and once again costing his brother, the Undertaker, to further their divide and show even more their disdain for each other as their feud kind of continue to evolve. Tying everything here together and in a way, it kind of ending in ways one feud, because Shawn wouldn't really be wrestling after this until WrestleMania 14, obviously because of the injury. Meanwhile, Undertaker and Kane would continue their feud. So kind of, for the most part, ending off one rivalry and really, I don't want to say beginning another one, but kind of furthering another one in a way. So this match kind of accomplished that in spade. Undertaker, presumably in the casket, is set on fire. Although apparently they do go in the casket and find nobody there. And Undertaker, and I want to get the exact quote. I want to get the exact quotes that the Undertaker has. As where is it? Yeah, there we go. Undertaker says, Kane, until our paths cross again, I shall never rest in peace. So, this kind of being also, you see how things are furthering, because this ultimately what sets Undertaker over the edge, because at this point in the story, Undertaker didn't want to fight his brother, but after setting him on fire, setting his casket on fire, and costing him the WWE Championship, lest we forget, Undertaker pretty much says, screw it, I'm going to beat you up at WrestleMania, yeah, that's kind of fair. I mean, granted, it's technically a lick back because, well, Kane and him being set on fire, but yeah. So that continues that feud. That wraps up the Shawn feud, and yeah, had a great match and really really fun match in that regard as well. If I had to find something to dislike about the match, admittedly, it was a little awkward. The bell not ringing, and I imagine some people were probably confused. Like, wait, is the match over? Did Shawn win? And they kind of confirmed on commentary that Shawn obviously won because Undertaker was in the casket. Which, man, I forgot how many casket matches Undertaker lost. For that match being kind of like a gimmick match of his, I forgot how many he lost. Casket and like buried alive matches, but yeah, it admittedly was kind of an awkward ending, and the New Age Outlaws and Los Boricuas showing up was also kind of awkward in that regard, as well. Almost makes you wonder why they bother, I guess them having this partnership, even if temporarily or teased, between Undertaker and Kane, kind of testing the waters for the not New Age Outlaws, for the Brothers of Destruction later on this year. Now that I think about it, because this is 1998, the Brothers of Destruction would be a thing later on this year, but yeah, so that was kind of a bit strange, and of course Shawn's injury, him getting injured does suck. And you can kind of tell Undertaker does kind of realize something's not quite right. But otherwise, Shawn still being able to tough it out and still being really able to go is still really impressive to see. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as it drops. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match, my review of the match. Do you like the match? Do you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.